Dixon Holiday Show, also known as the Seiko Mako Podcast. What is up, everyone? I am recording this today after the Super Bowl. and, um, yeah, burping ASMR. If you guys have any burp kinks, or you get off my page, because I'm not going to fill your head up with burps, okay? That's not, I can't, I don't even know if I could be saying that. Burp, you know what? Let's leave that there. I was gonna say something, but then I changed my mind. So, what are we going to do today? Today, I have an announcement. If you're watching right now, you just entered into the monthly book club. Yes, I am. Okay, one, I'm not turning this into a book club, but I am turning this into. Actually, maybe I should turn this whole podcast into a book club. No, I want to talk about other stuff too. But let's look out for my Twitter. If you see any changes, I'll put that in the description below. But yeah, hi guys. We're starting a book club. I'm starting a book club. This is my second take because I didn't want to do it as I was thinking on the video or whatchamacallit, or audio. But this is fully audio. So if you're listening, audio users, expect no facial value. I never saw my face on my podcast anyways. I just share my screen. But we're not going to share any screens today. We're going to be reading books today. Okay, so before we even begin, why am I doing this? Because books, right? Books. That's why. Books. Anyways, also because I haven't read one in a while. And now I'm sick in the head now. Because I didn't read a book at all, ever. Like, the last time I read a book was for a class. And not even for a college class, for a high school class. I'm in college now. So, yeah. Rawr, rawr. I don't even know where to start. I was cleaning my room, and I saw books I didn't read before. And I saw books that I read in class a long time ago. Like this book I have in my hand now, Monster by Walter Dean Myers. The reason why I'm doing this is because I want to get in touch with what's happening. Okay, one, I want to read more without recording a podcast for it. Two, because I want to. Because I want to. And three, I thought it would be fun. I thought it would be fun to interact with you guys in different ways. None of you guys are in my live stream right now. Like, you know, I'm not live streaming right now, I think. I don't think I'm live streaming. I think you only live stream when you put your face cam on. Other than that, we're not live. We're not live. At least I don't think. I'm having a podcast midlife crisis. But yeah, I'm excited for this. I really am. Because I'm getting back to reading. I see all these great books. I have 4 books near me, by the way. And they're all in size order. So, and if this first book that we're going to read out now, yeah, this is not going to be like an ordinary book club. Like, hey, I want you to read this book, and after a month, I want you all to talk about it. Because for me, that's not engaging. I want to read with you guys. I want to read to you guys. I want to ask you guys questions. Like we're in an actual class. Because that's what book clubs actually do. But I feel like not a lot of people understand that. We're 4 minutes in. I need to stop blabbing. This is also going to be shared with my Facebook. And in case people call me and say, hey, did you start a podcast? I want to see. I'm really scared of sharing it to my Facebook family. Because, like, there's a whole side to me that they didn't even know about. They didn't even know I had a podcast. So, ooh, do I really want to share with them? Do I really? Because my Twitter page isn't responding. You know what? Yeah, I'll share it. The Seiko Maito's podcast. I should probably change the name of the podcast, though. Instead of calling it Seiko Maito, because I never used the username Seiko Maito. I don't even know where I got the Seiko part from Corpse Party. But, like, I'm growing up. I'm growing. I'm changing. I'm going to change the name so many people don't think that I'm crazy. So instead of the Seiko Maito podcast, it's going to be the Aaliyah podcast. The Aaliyah podcast. Because what if I'm sharing this to my Facebook family? I really need to think about some things. I really do. Because one, I really don't want to change it. But two, if I want to search my Facebook family, how are they even going to pronounce it? You know? I don't know. You know what? Maybe I won't share it. Because, my audience is for young adults and teenagers. So, we'll see. I get really frustrated when I have to think about things. I want to share it. I want to get more views. But no one's listening to my podcast. But then again, I'm not making this for anyone else. I'm making this so everyone will know that I'm still alive. Like, did you know that there's this Reddit subreddit that shares podcast episodes? They just shared mine today. I just saw mine. Hopefully, if anyone's on Blue Sky, if anyone's on Twitter, you guys could hit me up and we could collab. I don't know, man. I just want to get to reading. So, here's another thing before we start to get reading. One, this is not a monthly thing. If I want to read as much as I can, it's not going to be a monthly thing. Each book will change each month, but it's going to be weekly. And all of the episodes I'm recording are all going to be pre-recorded. All of it pre-recorded. Should they be pre-recorded? Actually, no, they're not going to be pre-recorded. Because you know why? How are people going to answer you? And you have no idea that they even answered you because you keep making pre-recorded episodes. You know what I mean? Like, that's another way. Like, yeah, I'm not going to pre-record it. I'm just going to post weekly with the book thing. But I also have other stuff that I want to talk about too. So you're going to have like a whole garage full of my podcast episodes. The scheduling is finicky, and I despise it. I really do. It pisses me off. But the book that we are going to read today is Monster. And every week, I'm going to be, checking up on you guys, saying, hey, did you read my book? I mean, not my book specifically, but did you read the book that I assigned you? Because if you're already on my podcast, you're already assigned a book. So get the book that I'm reading, or write down notes, get an ebook. This is turning into a full class. A full class. And we maybe even discuss it with other people. So, get it together. Get it together. Okay? All I'm saying is this, come on, pick up a book every week. I'll give you 7 days. So this comes out, it's Monday. So Monday the 10th. By the 17th, You should have already read chapter 1. And if you didn't, you're getting a 0. I'm joking, but also, I'm not. I'm in the middle of joking and not joking. Just read. Just read. Okay. This is old. This has stains and everything. This is a diary. It's called Monster by Walter Dean Myers. And we're going to read it today this month. You know, February already started, and we're probably not going to finish it till like March, if we're lucky. If I'm not, you know, lazy. So, I read this in middle school with Miss Hannah, I think. And yeah, I'm going to read with you guys. I think my parents came in. No, I don't know. So, yeah. If you guys already read this book, good for you. I read this book too. Let me see. See, this book is already it's split up by dates, so that's basically the chapter. But you know, this is about a kid that got falsely accused, I think. I don't remember, but we're gonna find out together. So, I got my pen. This also might have curse words in it, so. Ugh. Excuse me. You might hear a lot of burping. I just eat a sandwich. So, yeah. Let's start reading, shall we? The best time to cry is at night, when the lights are out and someone is being beaten up and screaming for help. That way, even if you sniffle a little, they won't hear you. If anybody knows that you are crying, they'll start talking about it, and soon it'll be your turn to get beat up when the lights go out. There is a mirror over the steel sink in my cell. It's 6 inches high and scratched with the names of some guys who were here before me. When I when I look into the small rectangle, I see a face looking back at me, but I don't recognize it. It doesn't look like me. I couldn't have changed that much in a few months. I wonder if I look like myself when the trial is over. This morning, at breakfast, a guy got hit in the face with a tray. Somebody said some little thing and somebody got mad. There was blood all over the place. When the guards came over, they made us line up against the wall. The guy was hit. They made sit at the table while they waited for another guard to bring them rubber gloves. When the gloves came, the guards put them on, handcuffed the guy, and then took him into the dispensary. He was still bleeding pretty bad. They say you get used to being in jail, but I don't see how. Every morning I wake up and I am surprised to be here. If your life outside was real, then everything in here is just as opposite. We sleep with strangers, wake up with strangers, and go to the bathroom in front of strangers. There's strangers, but they still find reasons to hurt each other. Sometimes I feel like I have walked into the middle of a movie. It is a strange movie with no plot in the beginning. The movie is in black and white and grainy. Sometimes the camera moves in so close that you can't tell what is going on, and you just listen to the sounds and guess. I have seen movies of prisons, but never one like this. This is not a movie about bars and locked doors. It's about being alone when you are not really alone, and about being scared all the time. I think to get used to this, I will have to give up what I think is real and take up something else. I wish I could make sense of it. Maybe I could make my own movie. I could write it out and play it in my head. I could block out the scenes like we did at school. The film will be the story of my life. No, not my life, but of this experience. I write it down in the notebook they left me keep. I'll call it what the lady who is the prosecutor called me. Monster. So yeah, that's like the intro of Monster. And already we see this guy who, who's like in jail. And I did actually already spoil it, but he was falsely accused, but like, I'm really sorry for spoiling that. I'm like, so sorry. I did not mean to actually spoil. But, we'll see how he gets to that point. So now I feel bad. You guys can unfollow me now. So now chapter 2 begins with. Give me a minute. This is a long book. Most books are long. I mean, we're not reading the Hungry Hippo or anything, but. Did you hear me flipping through pages? I was looking at where we go. I think we stop at the next diary entry. Like, this is long. $43. Yeah, 45. This whole diary and the 45. Because all the dates for me count as chapters. So we might be here for a little while. So I'll just read and maybe there's commentary, but not a lot. So, Monday, July 6th. Monster. Fade in. Interior. Early morning in cell. Block D. Manhattan Detention Center. Camera goes slowly down. Grim. Gray corridor. There are sounds of inmates yelling from cell to cell. Most of it is obscene. Most of the voices are clearly black or Hispanic. Camera stops and slowly turns towards cell. Interior. Cell. 16-year-old Steve Harmon, main character, is sitting on the edge of a metal cot, head in hands. He is thin, brown skinned. On the cot next to him are the suit and tie he is to wear to court for the start of his trial. Cut to Ernie, another prisoner, sitting on John, pants down. Cut to Sunset, another prisoner, pulling on t-shirt. Cut to Steve, pulling blanket over his head as screen goes dark. Voiceover. Ain't no use putting the blanket over your head, man. You can't cut this out. This is reality. This is the real deal. VO continues with anonymous prisoner explaining how the detention center is a real thing. As he does, words appear on the screen, just like the opening credits of the movie Star Wars. Can I say that? Well, I guess super thing. I mean, I'm reading, but whatever. Rolling from the bottom of the screen and shrinking until they are a blur on top of the screen before rolling off into space. Monster, the story of my miserable life. It's so sad. Starring Steve Harmon, produced by Steve Harmon, directed by Steve Harmon. Credits continue to roll. The incredible story of how one guy's life was turned around by a few events, and now he might spend the rest of his life behind bars. Told as it actually happened. It's like a diary, it's like a movie. I just turned Italian. Written and directed by Steve Harmon, featuring Sandra Petrocelli as a dedicated prosecutor, Kathy O'Brien as a defense attorney with doubts, James King as the Doug, Richard Bobo Evans as the Rats, Osvaldo Cruz, member of the Diablos, as a tough guy wannabe, Laurel Henry as a witness, Jose Delgado, he found the body, and starring 16-year-old Steve Harmon as the boy on trial for murder. Filmed at the Manhattan Detention Center. Set design, handcuffs, and prison outfits by the state of New York. I don't want to laugh at this, but that's actually kind of a funny detail. Because, people usually credit other outfit designers from the you know, it's not funny. Ugh, what am I saying? I'm sorry. Yo, Harmon, you gonna eat something? Come on and get your breakfast, man. I'll take your eggs if you don't want them. You want them? I'm not hungry. His trial starts today. He up for the big one. I know how that feels. Cut to interior, corruption department van. With the bars at the rear of the van, we see people going about the business of their lives in downtown New York. There are a man collecting garbage, a female traffic officer motioning for a taxi to make a turn. Students on the way to school. Few people notice the van as it makes its way from the detention center to the courthouse. Cut to prisoners, handcuffed, coming from the back of the van. Steve is carrying a notebook. He is dressed in the suit and tie we saw in the cop. He is seen only briefly as he is herded through the heavy doors of the courthouse. Fade out as last prisoner from the van enters the rear of courthouse. Fade in, interior courthouse. We are in a small room used for prisoner lawyer interviews. A guard sits in the desk behind Steve. Kathy O'Brien, Steve's lawyer, is petite, red-haired, and freckled. She is all business as she talks to Steve. I don't know why, but she kind of reminds me of that cowgirl from Toy Story. Jessie. She kind of reminds me of that. Well, in the whole seriousness, should I pretend that should I call her Jessie O'Brien? This is a serious book, by the way. This is very serious, and I'm stalling, and we have 45 pages to read, so I'm stalling. My bad. O'Brien, let me make you understand of what's going on. Both you and this King character are on trial for felony murder. Felony murder is as serious as it gets. Sandra Petrocelli is the prosecutor, and she's good. They're pushing for the death penalty, which is really bad. The jury might think they're doing you a big favor by giving you life in prison, so you'd better take this trial very, very seriously. When you're in court, you sit there and you pay attention. You let the jury know what you think the case is as serious as they do. You don't turn and wave to any of your friends. It's all right to acknowledge your mother. I have to go and talk to the judge. The trial will begin in a few minutes. Is there anything you want to ask me before it starts? You think we're going to win? It probably depends on what you mean by win. Cut to interior holding room. We see Steve sitting at one end of the bench. Against the opposite wall, dressed in a sloppy-looking suit, is 23-year-old James King, the other man on trial. King looks older than 23. He looks over at Steve with a hard look, and we see Steve look away. Two guards sit at a table away from the prisoners, who are handcuffed. The camera finds the guards in a median shot. MS. They have their breakfast in aluminum stakeout trays that contain eggs, sausages, and potatoes. A black female stenographer pours coffee for herself and the guards. I hope this case lasts 2 weeks. I can sure use the money. 6 days. Oh, wait, guard one. 6 days, maybe 7. It's a motion case. They go through the motions, then they lock them up. Turns and looks off the camera towards Steve. Ain't that right, Bright Eyes? Cut to Steve, who is seated on a low bench. He is handcuffed to a U-bolt put in the bench for that purpose. Steve looks away from the guard. I just want to say, I really, 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 really don't dig people like the stenographer. I hope this case lasts 2 weeks. I can sure use the money. Like, that is a crazy thing to say. That's like a crazy thing to say. That really, wow, it amazes me how heartless can people be. Because this guy could be on the death penalty. They could kill him for the murder if he's proven guilty. But, like, you're worried about your money? This is why the love of money has stemmed from just being pieces of paper to the whole love of it being a sin. Well, that is crazy. Let's read that part again. I hope this case lasts 2 weeks. This is a stenographer. I can sure use the money. That is crazy to say. From a prisoner's point of view, you better not pray that this case is long unless they have some details that they missed. Because that's you in jail. You're in jail. Let's continue. Cut to door. It opens and court clerk looks in. Court clerk. 2 minutes. Cut to. Guards, who hurriedly finished their breakfast. Stenographer takes machine into courtroom. They unshackle Steve and take him toward the door. Dude, that's a little unprofessional. I mean, it's not unprofessional to eat, but like, you know, having breakfast before. I'm sorry, that's just a little detail that kind of pissed me off. Cut to. Steve is made to sit down at one table. At another table, we see King and two attorneys. Two attorneys. Steve sits alone. A guard stands behind him. There are one or two spectators in the court. Then four enter. Close up, see you, Steve Harmon. The fear is evident on his face. MS. People are getting ready for the trial to begin. Kathy O'Brien sits next to Steve. How are you doing? I'm scared, Steve says. O'Brien. Good. You should be. Anyway, just remember what we've talked about. The judge is going to rule on a motion that King's lawyer made to suppress Cruz's testimony. But hurts. Sorry. And a few other things. Steve, let me tell you what my job is here. My job is to make sure the law works for you as well as against you, and to make you a human being in the eyes of the jury. Your job is to help me. Any questions you have, write them down and I'll try to answer them. What are you doing there? I'm writing this whole thing down as a movie. Whatever. Make sure you pay attention. Close attention. All rise. The judge. Court guard. Sorry. The judge enters and sits behind the bench. He is tall and thin. He puts his fingers through wisp of white hair and looks over the courtroom before sitting. He is a 60-year-old New York judge and already looks bored with the case. Uh-oh. The court guard signals for the people to sit. Prosecution ready? Sandra Petrocelli, the prosecutor, stands. She is dressed in a gray business suit. She looks intense while still being attractive. Her hair and eyes are dark. Petrocelli. Ready, Your Honor. Judge. Defense? Asa Briggs, the lead counsel for the defense of James King, stands. He is dressed in a dark blue suit and light blue tie. His eyes are also blue and his hair is white. Briggs. Ready. O'Brien. Ready, Your Honor. Wait, did she say? I'm sorry. Hold on. O'Brien. Ready, Your Honor. Judge. All right. I'm ruling the kid's testimony is admissible. You can bring up your motions relative to that ruling this afternoon, or if there's a break. However, at a good 4th of July. Briggs. The usual barbecue and softball game that reminded me that I can't run away anymore. I can't run anymore. What? O'Brien. With all the fireworks, it's my least favorite holiday. Same. Like, you know what? Remember that episode I made about the 4th of July? And I talked about the fireworks? That's exactly how I feel. Least favorite holiday. So I already stand O'Brien. You know this is real life. Judge, bring in the jury. Cut to film workshop at Stuyvesant High School. A film on a small screen is just ending. It was a class project, and the camera is shaky. We watch as the girl on the screen walks slowly away. Screen goes black, then dazzling white, then normal as lights go on. We see Mr. Sawicki, film club mentor, and 9 students who are casually dressed. Sawicki. In a jury competition, the ending would have hurt this piece, but otherwise it was interesting. Any comments? We see Steve raising his hand, looking much the same as he does in court. Steve, I like the ending. Sawicki. I didn't say it was bad, but wasn't it predictable? You need to predict without predicting. You know what I mean? When you make a film, you leave an impression of the viewers who serve as a kind of jury for your film. If you make your film predictable, they'll make up their minds about it long before it's over. Cut to courtroom. We see jurors filling in and taking their seats. Steve, to attorney. You think they look all right? O'Brien. They are what we have for a jury. We have to deal with them. Cut to long shot. Ellis, a Petrocelli. She sits at the podium in front of the jury. She smiles at the jurors and some smile back. That's a weird thing. You know, it's kind of funny. Like, if that's what you're using, your looks and your smile and all that, to gain like likes and f's and giggles, I don't, I don't know what I'm saying, but it seems a little weird. I don't know. Ignore me, because I'm gonna get frustrated. Petrocelli. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sandra Petrocelli, and I'm an assistant district attorney for the state of New York. Let me get my mouth. Mmm. Let's read that over. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Petrocelli. My name is Sandra Petrocelli, and I'm an assistant district attorney for the state of New York. I am representing the people in this matter, which you were informed during jury selection is a case of felony murder. We're told today basically because this is not a perfect world. The founding fathers of our country understood this. They knew that there would be times and circumstances during which our society would be friended by the acts of individuals. This is one of those times. A citizen of our city, a citizen of our state and country, has been killed by people who attempted to rob him. To safeguard our security, a society, a system of laws has been created. You, the jury, are part of the system of laws. I represent the state of New York, and I am part of that system. You are the judge and all the participants in this trial, as are the judge and all the participants in this trial. I will do my best to bring you the facts of this case, and I know you will do your best to judge the merits of this case. Most people in our community are decent, hardworking citizens who pursue their own interests legally and without infringing on the rights of others. But there are also monsters in our communities. People are willing to steal and kill. People who disregard the rights of others. Like the government right now, I'm not saying no names. Oh, I think, wait, because I clicked full screen. And then I don't know what the time is. It's 12:44. I have class in a few minutes. I'm gonna put this. Can you guys hear me well right here? Okay. Yeah, I put it on my cover. We're here. Deal with disregard the rights of others. She would be great. She would be great. Mm. On the 22nd on the 22nd of December of last year, at approximately 4 o'clock in the afternoon, two men entered a drugstore on 145th Street in Harlem. The state will contend that one of those men was Richard Bobo Evans. The state will contend that the other man who entered the store at that time and who participated in the robbery and the murder was James King. Petrocelli points at the table which James King sits. Mr. King is a man sitting at that table who is wearing a brown suit and is sitting at the right of the table. They were introduced to him during the jury selection process. He is one of the men on trial here today. The purpose of the two men entering the store on that Monday was very simple. They were going to rob the owner, 55-year-old Aguinaldo Nesbitt. We will show that although the two men did not have a gun with them, the owner of the store did have a gun for which he had a license and produced it to defend his property. Mr. Evans, who participated in the robbery, will testify that there was a struggle, which resulted in the gun being discharged and Mr. Nesbitt being killed. Mr. Nesbitt had every right to defend his property, every right not to be robbed. We all have that right. Further, there will be evidence that prior to the robbery there was a plan, or conspiracy, to rob the store. Mr. Evans and Mr. King were to enter the store and do the actual robbery. Another of the planners of this crime was to stand outside the drugstore and impede anyone chasing the robbers. The young man who had this assignment will testify to his role in the affair. Yet another of the conspirators, the planners of this robbery that left a man dead, was to go into the store prior to the robbery to check it out, to make sure that there was no police in the store. to make sure that the coast was clear, as they say. Two of the conspirators will testify their understanding of his fact. Also on this page, which is page 24, you would see the monster repeated one, two, three, four, five, six times. 3 out of the 6 being crossed out, but I digress. Their understanding of this fact. The man who was to enter the store and check it out is sitting at the other table. His name is Stephen Harmon. Cut to Steve Harmon. Then cut CU of the pad in front of him. He is writing the word monster over and over again. The right hand O'Brien's takes a pencil from his hand and crosses out all the monsters. That's cute. O'Brien, whispering. You have to believe in yourself if you're going to convince the jury that you're innocent. Cut to MS of Petrocelli. Petrocelli. A medical examiner will testify to the cause of death, knowing that the gunshot wound was fatal. Even though it was Mr. Nesbitt's gun, it was not Mr. Nesbitt who caused his own death. This was no suicide. This death was a direct result of robbery. Very simple, simply put, this is a case of murder. It is, moreover, a murder committed a felonious act. The two defendants you see before you will be shown to be participants in the act and are being charged with felony murder. Later, the judge will give you instructions on how to consider the evidence presented. But there is no doubt in my mind, and I believe by the end of the trial there will be little doubt in yours, that these two men, James King and Stephen Harmon, were all part of the robbery that caused the death of Aguinaldo Nesbitt. Thank you. Cut to LS, a courtroom. O'Brien is at the attorney's podium. Cut to Steve's mother on a wooden bench in the gallery area, listening intently. Her face looks worried. O'Brien. The state correctly says that the laws of a society provide protection for its citizens. When a crime is committed, I kind of like reading this. It's like a mystery novel. It is the state that must apply the law in a manner that offers redress and that brings the guilty parties to justice. But the laws also protect the accused, and that is the wonder and beauty of the American system of justice. We don't drag people out of their beds in the middle of the night and lynch them. We don't torture people. We don't beat them. We apply the law equally to both sides. The law that protects society protects all society. In this case, we will show that the evidence that the state will produce is seriously flawed. We will not show not only that there is room for reasonable doubt, and you will hear more about that at the end of this trial, but that the doubt that Steve Harmon has committed any crime at all, is overwhelming. As Mr. Harmon's attorney, all I ask of you, the jury, is that you look at Steve Harmon now and remember that at this moment the American system of justice demands that you consider him innocent. He is innocent until proven guilty. If you consider him innocent now, by law you must. If you have not prejudged him, then I don't believe we will have a problem convincing you that nothing the state will produce will challenge that innocence. Thank you. This is strong. This is a strong case. Cut to Briggs. Briggs. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Asa Briggs, and I will be defending Mr. King. Miss Petrocelli, representing the state, has presented this case in very broad and grandiose terms, but you will soon see that her key witnesses are among the most self-serving, heartless people imaginable. Some of them will begin their testimony by swearing that they are criminals. You will have the unpleasant task of listening to people who have committed crimes, who have lied and stolen, and in at least one instance have been admitted, and let me emphasize this, an admitted accomplice to murder. But in the end, you will have the opportunity to judge the state's key witnesses and to deliver a just verdict. What am I asking you to do is just that. Judge what they bring up on the witness's stand and deliver your just verdict. Thank you. Cut to witness stand. Jose Delgado is on the stand. He is young, very well built and articulate. Jose. I'm on until 9. The store closes at 10. So in the afternoon, I either go home and grab a bite or go out for Chinese. That night, I went out for Chinese. Usually, I get something and eat it in the back. When I went out, everything was okay. Petrocelli. What time did you leave the drugstore? Jose. 43. 4:30. Maybe 4:35 at the latest. Petrocelli. What did you discover on your return? Jose. At first I didn't see anything, which I knew was weird because Mr. Nesbit wouldn't leave the place empty. I went around the counters and I saw Mr. Nesbit on the floor. There was blood everywhere, and the cash register was open. A lot of cigarettes were missing, too, maybe 5 cartons. Petrocelli. Petrocelli. And did you call the police? Jose. Yeah, but I knew Mr. Nesbit wasn't dead. Was dead. Petrocelli. Mr. Delgado, are you familiar with the so-called martial arts? That's my hobby. I had a black belt in karate. Petrocelli. Is that is that fact pretty well known in the neighborhood in which the drugstore operated? Jose. Yeah, because whenever it was in a match and it made to the papers, Mr. Nesbit used to put the paper in the window. Petrocelli. Did the police ever visit the drugstore? Jose. Sometimes they would come in and sneak a smoke. Petrocelli. Nothing further. Briggs. You say that 5 cartons of cigarettes were missing? Jose. That's right. That's right. Briggs. 5, not 6. Jose. Afterward, I checked the inventory. It was 5. Briggs. What medical school did you attend? Jose. None. Briggs. But you said you knew that Mr. Nesbit was dead. You were sure of it. That right? Jose. Pretty sure. Briggs. Sure enough to stop and do inventory before trying to help your boss? Jose. I didn't take inventory right away. I just noticed. You work in a store. You notice that something is missing. Briggs. How long did it take? Jose. Pissed. Whew. I don't remember. Briggs. Nothing further. O'Brien. No questions. Ponticelli as Jose steps down. The state calls Salvador Cinzi. Cuts to Sal Cinzi on the stand. He is nervous. Slightly overweight. He wears thick glasses, which he's touching over no as he testifies. Petrocelli, Mr. Zinzi, where were you when you first became involved with this case? Zinzi, Rikers Island. Petrocelli, why were you there? Zinzi, stolen property. A guy sold me some basketball cards. They were stolen. Petrocelli, you knew they were stolen? Zinzi, yeah, I guess. Petrocelli, while you were at Rikers Island, did did you did you engage in a certain conversation with Wendell Bolden? Zinzi, yes, ma'am. Petrocelli, you want to tell me about the conversation? Zinzi, he said he knew about a drugstore holdup where a guy was killed, and he was thinking of turning the guy in to get a break. Petrocelli, and what did you do as a result of this conversation? Zinzi, I called Detective Gluck and told him what I know. Petrocelli, because he wanted a break too? Was that right? Zinzi, yeah. Petrocelli, so Bolden told you he knew about this crime. Was there anything else? Zinzi, that was it. Petrocelli, did he tell you about some cigarettes? Zinzi, yeah, he breaks objection. She's leaving. Petrocelli, withdraw. What else did he tell you? Zinzi, they got some cigarettes from this guy. 2 cartons. Petrocelli, did he tell you that the name of the person he got the cigarettes from? Zinzi, no, just that he was sure the guy was involved in the holdup. Petrocelli, nothing further. Cut to Briggs at the podium. Briggs, you want a break, Mr. Zinzi? Why did you need a break? You only had a few months to do, isn't that right? Zinzi, some guys were sexually harassing me, sir. Briggs, sexually harassing? Were they calling you a sissy? What does sexually harassing mean to you? Wow. Zinzi, they wanted to have sex with me. Briggs, so to save yourself from being gang raped, is that what they want to do? This is 18 plus. I'm turning this episode to 18 plus because it has a lot of words that, ugh, eh, and it talks about rape. Yeah, I'm playing 18 plus. Anyways, Zinzi, yeah, Briggs, and you were afraid? Zinzi, yeah, Briggs, you were afraid and you would have said just about anything to get out of that situation. Is that right? Zinzi, I guess so. Briggs, would you lie? Zinzi, no. Briggs, let me get this straight, Mrs. Lindsay. You'd buy stolen goods for profit, rather than somebody to save your own hide, but you're too good to lie. Is that right? Lindsay, I'm not lying now. Briggs, as a matter of fact, this Bolden was going to see what he could get out of this. But you stole his chance too, didn't you? Lindsay, I guess. Briggs, no further questions. O'Brien, this is Lindsay. How long were you in jail? Zinzi, 43 days. O'Brien. Do people in jail look for stories to report to the police? Petrocelli. Objection. The question's too vague. O'Brien. Well, let me put it in this way. Mr. Zinzi, this Mr. Bolton was going to use the store for his own benefit. Is that right? Zinzi. Right. O'Brien. And you decided to use it for your benefit? Zinzi. Right. Other guys in jail do that. O'Brien. You use stories and you use people, right? Zinzi. Sometimes. O'Brien. And the outcome of your talking with the detective in question is that you were able to reach the district attorney's office and strike a deal. Isn't that right? You were able to strike a deal that got you out of jail early. Isn't that right? Cindy, that's right. O'Brien, you happy with the deal? Cindy, yeah. O'Brien, I think partner. Petrocelli, Mrs. Zinzi, do you know when you're lying and when you're telling the truth? Zinzi, yeah, sure. Petrocelli, you telling the truth now? Cindy, yeah. Petrocelli, nothing further. Flashback of 12-year-old Steve walking in the neighborhood park with his friend Tony. We're almost done, guys. One page left. We're almost done. Tony. They should let me pitch. I can throw straight as anything. Scoops up a rock. See the lamppost? Throw a rock. We see that it bounces in front of the post and careens slightly to one side. Steve, you can't throw. Picks up rock and throws it. We see it sail past the post and hit a young woman. The tough guy she is walking with turns to see two young boys. Hey man, who do that? Your brothers. Tony, run! Tony, taking a tentative step. What? Tough guy punches Tony. Tony falls, tough guy stands over Tony as Steve backs off. The other man pulls tough guy away and they leave. Tony and Steve are left in the park with Tony sitting on the ground. Tony, I didn't throw that rock, you throw it. Threw it. Steve, I didn't say you threw it. I just said run. You should run. Tony, I'll get me and Uzi and blow his brains out. So occasionally, I remember this book would have little backstories. And we're done. We're actually done. We're actually done reading chapter 1. So, yeah. So, maybe at the end of each chapter, I'm going to ask you guys questions. You guys get to put these set questions in the comments below. Also, by the way, wait, you remember how I said I would, schedule the post to post it the next day so I can promote it? Yeah, that's gonna happen. That's gonna actually happen. So instead of me posting it today, I'm going to be posting it tomorrow because Mama needs a break. Mama needs a big old break. I need to edit the beginning part because I know it's gonna stitch the video part and the audio part together. I don't want that happening. I don't want that happening. No, no. Or maybe I'll export this part because they sent me an email about exporting. But anyways, first question, just one question. How did you guys enjoy that chapter so far? You can tell me in the comments below. You can tell me in the Twitter post, DM me. I post on Reddit sometimes. And I posted on Blue Sky. You can reach me on Blue Sky. You know, just try and interact with me. I'm not doing this dope weekend. And then on the day that I recorded this, like February 10th. So basically, I recorded the 17th, I posted it the next day. And then it'll still be a week. Time is confusing. But you gotta do what you gotta do every week. So bring out your notebooks next week, and we're gonna be taking some notes on chapter 2.